What is the state of pranayama? We know pranayama as breath control, breath regulation. According to the sutras, Patanjali says, Shvasa prashvasayor gati vicheda pranayama. The regulation of the breath is what he calls as pranayama. The word prana, the word ayama, the word prana means life force, the vital energy, which manifests in objects, living or static. So the life force exists as much in you as in a rock. So for a Buddha, even the rock has prana, life. That is why he could speak of compassion to all living beings. In the state of ayama is expansion from the individual, from the individual I to the supreme. Recognizing yourself with the vastness of existence, the content which the existence is made of, that is prana. Pranayama is basically explained as expansion from the individual to the cosmos. Shvasa prasvasayor gati vichedaha pranayama. Watching the gaps as you inhale, the breath stops for a moment. And when you exhale, again the breath stops. Constantly watching these gaps. Hatha Yoga calls this as kumbhakas. The containing of the breaths when the inhale dissolves into the exhale. And the exhale dissolves into the inhale. Shvasa is the inhale and the prashvasa is the exhale. Between these two gaps is the state of silence, is the state of dissolution of the breath, what again Hatha Yoga calls as kumbhakas, the containing of the breath. So these two gaps, when one constantly watches, can attain to the state of pranayama. Or Tantra says, stop the breath. Remember to keep stopping the breath. You're walking on the road, stop the breath suddenly and watch what happens. In this stoppage, the whole energy concentrates into one moment. You come to the present, life, death meets. When life and death merge, then the breath is contained. Because the link between life and death is the breath. As long as you're alive, you keep on breathing. You know life, you're born, but you do not know death. Death is a mystery. So by understanding breath, its stoppages, the kumbhakas, one comes to understand death also. And by understanding these elements, constant effort is needed to understand, a constant watching. Buddha says, one is initially not capable of watching these gaps. He has to watch the breath itself, the ana and the apana, the coming in, the going out, constantly watching. Then the breath becomes more and more silent, and one starts to watch the gaps. And when the breath starts to dissolve, the gaps become bigger and bigger and bigger. And the mind starts to become silent. With this, Buddha says you enter into the fourth dimension of the breath, vipassana. You become a witness to your own breathing. The breathing is happening, and you are at a distance, watching. Patanjali also calls this the fourth, the turiya. When one goes beyond the breath, he is capable of witnessing. Kevala, the gaps become spontaneous, and that is the state of pranayama.